Welcome to Shine, Delusion, Shine, the radical art of dreaming beyond boundaries. I am Vicki Todd, and together with Dr. Pat, we will learn to push the boundaries of our minds, to think delusionally, and create fertile ground for our big dreams to seed, grow, and manifest. Each episode, we will gain more ability to think delusionally and cultivate beyond boundaries faith that we can accomplish dreams which seem unreachable. Shine, Delusion, Shine is a springboard to believing, dreaming, and thinking beyond the ordinary, and a catalyst to living a more fulfilling, destiny-driven life. You are born with dreams, gifts, and talents you are meant to use to make this world brighter. Let your delusional dreams shine. It all starts now.
Hey, everybody, welcome. It's great. I get to take this journey with Vicki again, which is so fun. Shine, Delusion, Shine. And this is a special show because you're going to hear a lot about the evolution and the revolution of delusional thinking. Today, Vicki, I mean, this is really exciting. I mean, we're starting off the series by giving people, let's just say a sense of what you mean by delusional thinking. Give us a sense of that, because I don't know that it'll be what most people think you're saying here or what I believe it means.
Okay.
But I do know delusional thinking is what helped me form the network. Just saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Pat, the way that I think of it is, sometimes when we have this huge dream in our heart, and I truly believe that God puts these big dreams in us that we can't accomplish on our own strength. And we may share that with a friend or whoever in our life, and they say, I'm not sure about that. That sounds kind of delusional to me. Well, I want to turn that on its head. I want to say, okay, maybe this does sound kind of wackadoo, but let's expand our minds. Let's have this beyond borders faith that yes, we can develop these dreams and manifest them, and it may take a while. I know in my history, these things have kind of taken a while, but I want to believe that, yes, I've got this higher power with me and we're doing this together. So poo-poo, let's be delusional.
Yeah. So let's talk about what are your bones? Let's talk about where we are and what is it that sometimes for many of us, we cannot let go. There's just something that just won't quit with us. Give us a sense of what that is, and should introduce us to your friends behind you.
Oh, okay. Well, I am an artist and a sculptor and a playwright. And so this painting behind me, I'm naming this after my play, Does This Make Me Delusional? And I'll explain why in a minute. And I've also got a sculpture over here. You notice they both have their deer antlers on. And this one is called Marie Yearning. And so it was based on a maternal aunt who died in the late 1930s. And I just wondered what she would have been if she had have grown past 10 years old.
Wow. So, walk us through the process and the process of looking back to bring us forward.
Okay. When we first started this concept, I was trying to say, from this day forward, I'm going to open my mind, expand it, and think delusionally. And it just was not clicking. And I was meeting with you one day, and I've learned if Pat suggests something, go do it. And so all you said was, go do some bubble charts. You didn't say what it was for or how or whatever. And so I took that and I thought, okay, what are my delusional dreams? And so I had 3 big bubble charts, one for playwriting, one for art and sculpture, and one for writing books. And I was amazed because going back years, more than 2 decades, I kind of started seeing this pattern. And the more that I saw that, oh, wow, the universe has been putting these little stepping stones in my path way back there. It reminded me of that story from Women Who Run with the Wolves, La Loba. And she goes into the desert and she starts finding these seemingly separate, random, probably forgotten wolf bones that don't look like much on their own. She brings them back to her cave, creates the wolf skeleton, and then sings over the the skeleton. And so the wolf starts, the organs and the blood and the flesh and the fur start coming out. And she keeps singing, and the wolf jumps alive and runs out of the cave. Those are our dreams. And so by doing the bubble chart and looking backwards, I could see these bones or these, little seeds of the delusional dreams in my life that the universe had placed there for me.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it fascinating when we actually step away? I love the process of it. And I'm sorry, I love the whole bubble chart thing, because what it does for me is it stops me from trying to figure out how I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. And that always, if you talk to enough people, Vicki, don't you realize that when we get a great idea, where we get stuck is when we go from idea to how.
Yes.
How am I going to do it?
The how is not up to us, in my humble opinion. So
No, I agree.
that's where God, the universe, comes in. And so I think my job is to gather the bones, gather these dreams, breathe life into them. And when I say breathe life into them, I mean, okay, believing them. I believe that the universe will give you these kind of delusional action steps or stepping stones. And I've seen these along the way. So perfect example, a few months ago when I got the email from you, Dr. Pat, and Transformation Network to say, hey, you've been a host before. Would you like to do this again? We're celebrating our, is it 15-year anniversary in 2025?
15 for TTR, over 20 for TTN. Transformation Talk Radio it's in a 15th year now this year.
Awesome.
Yes.
And so that was a delusional action step. And literally when I read that email, tears popped up in my eyes and my heart just was like, and so I knew, okay, this may be scary. What in the world would you talk about, 6.5 years since my first show? But that's an action step that I have to say yes to. And so that is breathing life into my delusional dreams.
Yeah. And, let's talk about it, because you mentioned the universe. I want to go there. We don't realize how powerful we are as ignition points. We are the ignition. We're the thing that puts the idea, the spark that gets it going. But then the question is, well, who's running the engine? And so let's talk about the universe and what the universe does to give us that delusional stepping stone. Each of us, look, you and I both have had it. For me, it was 2003, dialing a wrong phone number, right?
Wow.
That was the thing where the universe, in order to get my attention, hooked me up that way, and I didn't hang up, right? So talk about this for you, these stepping stones.
Okay. I'm going to start 1998 very quickly. I was in not such a great marriage. I had caved in to my mom to, get pregnant, because I've always known that motherhood was not my bag. And I had not been working for 4.5 years. My master's degree was 8 years old. So all of this perfect storm kind of coalesced into, I get this call from my former dean at Texas Tech, and he said, well, I see, that you're not working. Would you like to teach this public relations writing class, which I'd never taken a PR class in my life because I was advertising. Oh, by the way, it starts tomorrow. Do you want to do it? So, this is all Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. So I did that. He said, go for your doctorate degree. I got divorced. And during all this tumultuous time of going from non-working wife to university professor, I started painting these expressive female portraits, kind of like what we have back here. And then I noticed that, oh, this is kind of a visual memoir of what's going on in my life. Well, I eventually ended up moving to Connecticut, teaching at Quinnipiac University. And so on the surface, you're learning a new culture, because Texas and the Northeast, a little bit different there. Figuring out tenure track, trying to make friends, because I didn't know anyone there except for the people who had interviewed me the year before. But when I did the bubbles chart, I'm seeing, oh, that's on the surface. What's the subtext is I went to this mom and pop bookstore in Wallingford, Connecticut, where I was living. They had an event sheet by the cash register, and one event was a playwriting group. Well, I had never done theater before in my life because I thought, oh, I couldn't do that. Well, I was intrigued, but it scared me. So I actually called a friend in Texas. Hey, do you think I could do this? And he said, of course you can. So I joined the group, met friends. They said, you know, Vicki, you're good at this. Have you thought about auditioning for community theater? No. I did community theater for 5 years. And the only reason I quit is because I got tenure. But that dream was still there. So fast forward to 2013, I'm sure like a lot of people in our audience, Oprah was doing her new meditation CDs with Deepak. And so I was doing one and, it was like, what are you supposed to be? Well, an artist. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And it took me 2 years to finally get the courage to quit my tenured professor job. I was chair of my department. I finally quit in 2015. But once I made the commitment during that meditation to say, I am an artist and I'm going to do this, that's when my delusional dreams started popping into my mind. Mine usually pop up in the bathtub at night. I had this vision that you need to do a stage play that's like the vagina monologues, but with art. And so that was in 2014. And all of this stuff was happening. I finally quit my job in 2015. My mother was so mad at me because guess what, people? When you say yes to a dream, not everyone is going to say, yay, this is awesome. She said, you're going to fail. I'm embarrassed of you. You cannot be called doctor again. What am I going to tell people? She quit talking to me for 6 months. And so it was tough. Well, long story short, she got delusional dementia and she was beginning to see, weirdly, some of my dad's dead relatives that she didn't like in life, but they were very scary to her. Well, she was put into a memory care facility and I would go visit her. And that was really hard because, we kind of triggered each other. But the last time I saw her was December 2019. She was so soft. And she said, I want to introduce you to the director of the facility. Oh, this is my beautiful daughter, Vicki. She is an artist in Santa Fe. My mouth dropped. But through all of this, that gave me my plays. And so it gave me my first play, which I finally performed in February 2022, which was 12 monologues based on growing up in Happy, Texas. Yes, it's a real place. Fairy tale world, where I brought in 30 body print paintings that, I, not on stage, but I had put paint on my naked torso, made a print of it, added female faces, rabbit heads, deer heads, cow skulls, whatever, flowering vines, and 7 fairy tale masks. And that was the ending of that play, was her saying, here's your blessing, you're my beautiful daughter and you're an artist in Santa Fe. And so that, in doing that in 2022, was the manifestation of that dream in the bathtub in 2014. Oh, I think I want to do a stage play like Vagina Monologues, but with art. Well, around that time in 2014, I also had another very vague vision of being on stage, painting a canvas. I didn't know what play it was. I didn't know what the canvas was. It's this canvas in my new play. Does this make me delusional? So all of this painful, weird, seemingly why is this happening to me stuff gave me the content for my delusional dreams.
Yeah. You know what I love about this? And I want to break this down to people because every day in your life, you will get an opportunity.
Yeah,
I guarantee it, right, Vicki? And
absolutely.
it may not look like Vicki's. Maybe it looks like mine, where lost my job, of course, which I, of course, caused that to happen, got a year's salary, a lot of severance money, went back to school. But then here's the delusional part of this, where everybody thought I'd lost it. They're like, what? I decide after coming to Seattle for a bunch of weeks in the summer, I'm just going to pack everything up and move.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. So that's the way that happened. It was like, yep, ending this relationship with you, going to sell the house, get my buddy John to help me pack everything up, traded my gym equipment for his Harley Davidson, packed up a big truck, and off I went. Did I know where I was going and what I was going to do? I did
No.
not. I did not. I knew I had applied for doctoral programs, but I can't explain how perfect it felt. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? That had to be the
Absolutely.
case for you too. So
Absolutely.
the misconception with delusional thinking is one misconception is that delusional thinking has a really bad ending. It does not.
It
And
does
I
not.
think that's why you're doing the show, to
Yeah.
show that this thing we call delusional thinking isn't delusional for us.
Well, people can't see the dreams that God, the universe, whatever your higher power is, they can't see or hear that dream that's in you. And sometimes, when you share it with people, they say, "Oh, that's never going to happen. What are you talking about?" And I've become more careful, about what I share with certain people. And so, that was just one of the really hard things with my mom because we'd always been so close and I always shared everything with her. Well, you kind of hope that she's going to be happy for this. And I know, like looking back, I know that sounds crazy that, yeah, I've been teaching 17 years. I'm tenured. I have this job for life. I'm chair of my department. Guess what? I'm about to turn 50. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do art. And do I have a plan? No. And so, kind of like it was just this leap. And I know that it sounds so cliche, but that saying that when you take the leap, the universe will catch you, it absolutely will. And that doesn't mean that I wasn't absolutely scared to death. Um, I finally feel now, I mean, I quit in 2015. We're in 2025. I'm finally feeling that my feet are on solid ground. I'm not nearly to where I want to be. But like you said, moving to Seattle, you had this kind of feeling about that. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And when I was married in the 90s, I call it the decade of doom, um, we had come to Santa Fe on vacation and I just fell in love with it. And so I had this little whisper in the back of my head, someday I'm going to move to Santa Fe and do art. But I thought it'd be like when I was 75.
Yeah.
And I have my own studio now, and I didn't know I was doing sculpture until 2018. So you never know, expand your mind. And even if
Yeah.
something that you think, oh, I would never do that, that's usually the thing that you're going to do.
I mean, I got to talk about this for a minute. I'm going to make a statement that that came up for me when I was getting ready for the show. And I said out loud, wow, delusional thinking is the greatest accelerator.
Yeah, yeah,
And I had to stop. And I was like, yes, it is. So let's talk about that because the universe will conspire to help us manifest. It is a great accelerator. And what do I mean by that? Putting ideas on a bubble chart is part one, but it's an acceleration. And, somebody asked me a long time ago about creativity and ideas. And they heard my story about growing up and wanting to be an art and music major. And of course, that didn't manifest, right? That way. And now people think I was in art and music. But the point is this: we have got to really look at what we truly want in our hearts. And delusional thinking gives us permission not to be strapped by our boundaries.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think these what I'm calling delusional action steps or delusional stepping stones that move you toward your delusional dream. To me, it's kind of like, the hero's journey, either accepting or rejecting the call. And I have a perfect example of that. December 2019, the month that, my mom said, "Oh, here's my beautiful daughter. She's an artist in Santa Fe." I'm living in Santa Fe. There is an event at one of the local theaters here where it was a panel of playwrights, New Mexico playwrights. And I thought, well, I'm going to go because I want to be a playwright, I want to do that and see what they have to say. Well, I met two ladies or saw two ladies on the panel. One of them I cold called and said, "Hey, I would like to, buy you a cup of coffee. Can you give me some tips?" She's the person who gave me the name of the solo performance story coach that I worked with during COVID breakdown because we were scheduled to begin. And on that day, we are supposed to meet in person and the lockdown hit. And so I did 4 months via Zoom writing my one-woman show. The other lady that I had seen, after I finished my play after that 4 months, I cold emailed her and I said, "Hey, I don't know you. I saw you in this panel a few months ago. Would you like to direct this play?" And so I didn't seek these people out. The universe gave me this opportunity. I said, yes, I'm going to go to it. And I had the courage to, say, you don't know me, but could we talk? So to me, that is the universe conspiring with you. And you can either say yes or you can say no. But oh my gosh, I'm so glad I said yes.
Yeah. And let's talk about this. We don't think about this as delusional, but the very fact that you came into my consciousness to even think to reach out to you. I mean, come on, let's put this together for a minute for people. It's not like I sit here every day and go through what, like a contact list and say, no, I'm just sitting here and I happen to look into our database and go to one of our old shows. I just accidentally, just on a particular day, I decided, what's Vicki Todd doing?
I
Right?
didn't know this.
Right. It's like, well, yeah, it's like, oh my God, she doesn't even know what we're doing now.
Yeah,
It's that it's not like I'm giving it in explainable language, but that's not the way it happens. It's like boom, 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 like that.
right, right.
And then it's up to you. Let's talk about what you said, because there is a reason we should think delusionally and practice it. Because if I'd have said to anybody, let's reach out to Vicki and see, well, Vicki's not, but I didn't. So let's talk about how we use delusional thinking and why we should use it. And what does it lead to? I'm telling you, when I packed up that big vehicle and got on the road, my house sold in record time in Montclair, New Jersey. Everything lined up. I came to Seattle. I didn't have apartment. My friend Ronnie was all of a sudden what do they call them? Property manager. Found me an apartment right on Capitol Hill, looked at my collie and said, of course, this is not true. Oh, that's about 20 pounds. Of course, my collie wasn't. And one thing happened after the other.
Right.
You can't explain this logically. So please help us understand why delusional thinking rocks.
Well, all I can think of, and this is why the bubble chart was so genius, because it wasn't until I started looking back. It's not like I forgot that, oh, I joined this play group and made really great friends who I'm still friends with. But when you look back at it in that context, that the universe is setting this up for you. And I don't know why, for me, it's taken years. For other people, this may happen for you tomorrow. I don't know. But it's just taken a while for me to get this going. And I have noticed that things that I thought were really separate tracks, sculpture, painting, playwriting, writing books, is starting to coalesce together. And kind of for me, that glue that's bringing it together is really looking into the stories of my maternal ancestors. And so, like, this sculpture back here, Marie Yearning, like I said, she would have been a maternal aunt. She died, I think, at the age of 10 in the late 1930s of something that I'm sure would have been curable today. But I thought, who would she have been? Well, that's
Yeah.
worked its way into my second play, Does This Make Me Delusional? Because besides the action, it's an autobiographical play. I'm Nora, Beulah is my mother, and we're having all this fireworks, among the quote unquote living. Well, in the back, there are 7 chairs that are the ancestor bleachers. And so dead relatives are back there like, oh, why are you saying this? Oh, why are you doing that? And so they're wanting to live vicariously through us. And so, I had a friend text me about a writing class through the ancestral medicine thing, and it started 2 weeks ago, and I haven't quite caught up with it yet. But I'm like, oh, maybe this could be more ancestor stories that could turn into a new show. It could
Yeah.
turn into a new, maybe one woman show, a book. And so it seems to me. Oh, another example. I had thought about, I'm doing a staged reading with, full cast of my play, Does This Make Me Delusional, on February 4th here in Santa Fe. Well, it kind of passed my mind, oh, I wonder if you should record it. And I thought, no, it's just a reading. I'll get somebody to take photos, from the audience. Well, an artist friend who lives in Glasgow, Scotland, saw that on Facebook and she said, oh, is this going to be videotaped or live streamed? Oh, so I've hired a videographer because you never know where that's going to go. So
Yeah.
to me, that's how it works. It just kind of trips into my life. And then it's up to me to say, yes, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And that's the key point for today is that, we're thinking about these things and it is our job to say yes. I mean, the idea of moving to Seattle, did a seed get planted when my best friend, Pat Hartman, moved out here and invited me to come visit after we both went through our 25-year? Yes, that was part of it. But then I went home and I had GREs and I had applications.
Yeah.
But what was it that you and I did? We
We said
really
yes.
had a sense of yes.
Yeah.
Vicki, thank you for today. I'd love to know your closing message, but more importantly, people are probably wondering, how do I find out more about your art? How do I watch this show now that's going to be live streamed?
Well, my website is Vicki World Art, VICKI worldart.com. You can see my sculpture, painting. There's a YouTube video of my one-woman show. Eventually, my second play will have a video up there. And there's an email if you'd like to contact me. So go to vickiworldart.com.
What's your closing message, Vicki? What would you like to leave us with today?
I think the closing message is let's expand our minds. Let's take a chance. And this isn't just, oh, I tried it for 2 days and it didn't work. You can see from my thing, this takes years. And so let's take a chance to expand our mind, have this beyond boundaries faith, believe we're not doing this on our own, and say, yes, I do believe that my delusional dreams can happen. And why? They're here to make the world brighter and to give you a more fulfilling, destiny-driven life.
I love it. And I want to just say this to all of you. There is an end to my story, which Vicki knows. Had I not packed that truck up with my motorcycle, my new Harley, my sports car attached, which actually flew off on the highway, we got that back, hauled it across in December, didn't know about the passes, didn't know about the Continental Divide, got stuck in Sturgis, but I didn't turn around. Had I not done that, think about this. You wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't know me. You wouldn't know Vicki. There would be no Transformation Talk Radio. There wouldn't have been a crust busting. There wouldn't have been a Transformation Network. And there wouldn't have been an experience with Vicki Todd that's inviting you to experience what she and I experienced. Why? Look at the life you desire. This is an invitation to step into a world which is so naturally yours. Please don't deny yourselves the ability to dream. And like Vicki said before, sometimes you really need to not share what you're thinking right away with people, right, Vicki?
That's right. But that's why we're calling it Shine, Delusion, Shine. Let your dreams shine.
Exactly. Thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on. We have more coming, Vicki, right? We have additional shows we're going to do, lots planned. And, if people want to know more about your art, they can go to your website, they can contact you directly. And I'm looking forward to that live streaming show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you all. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to Shine, Delusion, Shine, the radical art of dreaming beyond boundaries. I am Vicki Todd with Dr. Pat. Tune in with us each fourth Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio for more simple, repeatable habits to identify the dreams, gifts, and talents you were born with. Expand your mind and believe your dreams can become a reality. We invite you to tap into the flow of the delusional realm with us to make this world brighter. For more information on living a more fulfilling, destiny-driven life and to connect with me, visit VickiWorldArt.com.